Hey there guys, this is 88 Shadow Angel here once again, and today I'm bringing you some more Blood Bowl stuff, but something a bit different because it's not something that you really play on the field with, kind of. Today it will be everyone's favourite person in sports, the referees. And today it will be two of them, but I'm going to start with the Goblin. So these were from Forge World, which unfortunately you can't get from Forge World anymore unless there may be some at future events. But I'm sure you can find them on eBay or any other bits and old stuff, some websites. But yeah, so today I'm going to start with the Goblin, and I'm going to zoom in and get a bit of a better look. So, first thing you can tell about mine is he's orange, mainly because I prefer hobgoblins over standard goblins because they blend for me, goblins blend too much into stuff like orc armies, quite a lot of green. So I've always done my goblins as hobgoblins, mainly because they have a bit of a shorter temper, they're a bit more violent, and they really don't take shit. So I thought it'd be cool to have one as a referee, just for that kind of bit more of a humour side of things. So how I got the orange look was starting from Mephiston red, then building up pretty much all the way up to fiery orange. So basically just going through that entire red range and finishing with, like I say, with fiery orange. Then do a light coat of crimson, and then just very fine like highlight touches of Wild Rider orange, I think. Just on the like the points of the ears and fingers and that, just to kind of bring that touch of orange back out. And yeah, and so that's about it for the orange. White is fairly standard, white with a black wash, then just build the white back up. Gold's pretty much the same, Retributor with the black wash, and then you bring it back out with Liberator, which is the same for the sack of coins down here, which is just Rhinox, pretty much. And then it's just the small features like the bottle of God knows what. I'll say smelling salts for now, but it could be anything knowing Blood Bowl. I love the fact that he has a red and yellow card sort of tied on to his back, rather than obviously put in his pocket. And then it's just the small details. I mean, the coin that he's flipping is the actual Blood Bowl coin that you'd get in the starter set. So it's got the Blood Bowl symbol on one side, and then just kind of make bits out of the skull on the other side, and it gives it that really cool sort of dynamic. For the base, I've gone as with the human team in the last vid, I've kept really simple. This is just Battlemere texture paint, then have Steel Legion drab sort of dry brushed over it just to give it that kind of mud effect. Then it's not static grass, it has a name, but I can't think of the name of it at the moment. But it's that kind of piece bit together. I know it has a name, I just can't think of it. But it's basically just grass, and then just painted on the sort of white lines that you'd find on a field, on the Blood Bowl pitch, or any pitch really. And yeah, so there you go. So we're going to bring in the halfling next and have a look at him. So here's the halfling. Now I absolutely adore this model. It's absolutely brilliant because it's so kind of full of character, just like the Hobgoblin is as well. There's some really nice little touches to it. Obviously the sandwich is one. And yeah, and it's stuff like, I suppose, the collar with a bit of hair out the back, the hairy forearms and feet, and I also love the fact that he's wearing a shirt which obviously doesn't fit that well. So I've tried to make it kind of look about a bit slobbish and things like that, to give him a bit more of a character more than it is anything else. So with the sandwich, it's I believe I started with dust, Zandri dust. That's the one to do the actual bread roll, and then picked out the tomatoes and that on the inside with Festin red, and then just stenciled a few white bits to give the tomatoes a bit more character. I've also added the slice of ham underneath, and then I've gone and put Nurgle's Rot over the top as some kind of weird sauce, because I know one of the sponsors that usually gets mentioned is I think it's like an orc cook, like an orc culinary sauce of some kind, and I can't remember the exact name of it, but the way it's described is this really putrid looking green stuff. So kind of just imagine mayonnaise but green, because I know Bill Bifford, the giant ogre commentator, goes on about it a couple of times in Blood Bowl games, commentary and things like that, where he goes, I could just do a sandwich with such and such a sauce on it. And yeah, it's so I've kind of done it with that for that reason, so it kind of ties a bit more in with the Blood Bowl world. I've also done it so it sort of dripped down his shirt as well. He does also have it dripping out of his mouth, as if he's like in mid shouting while he's kind of trying to take a bite of his sandwich, which is falling all over the pitch. And yeah, so it's like I say, it's a really cool character, especially if you have the White Dwarf with the rules for both the Goblin and Halfling. It can really change the dynamic of the games. So if I just bring him back, so I'll finish the vid. So there you go, guys. I'm not going to say it's a short vid, because it's probably not, because I know I ramble. But there you go, two really cool, stunning models, which are Forge World, so it's Forge World resin, not plastic. To change kind of the dynamic of games, because they do have like I say, their own set of rules where you can bribe one, another one is a bit more harsher in his punishment kind of thing. I think the Halfling also has a short temper, so he can kind of get involved in action as well as everything else. So if you can get a hold of them, I would definitely say pick them up, especially if you're a Blood Bowl fan. And yeah, and so there you go, guys. As always, thank you so much for continued support and subscriptions, the likes, even the dislikes in some ways, and all the comments and everything else. And so yeah, so as always, drop a comment below if I can help with anything model related. And yeah, so if this is your first time watching, please like, share and subscribe the vids, and things like that. And I shall catch you again next time. Thank you very much. Stay safe. See you then. Bye. Bye.